Now, you've recently had some meetings with Helen Zilla.
I did, yeah.
And what happened there?
It was a half-an-hour conversation, but I think it's probably about 4 years of lobbying that kind of led up to that point.
Yeah.
So it's a half-an-hour conversation to sit down with a politician that has a lot of power to do things, but it was just that understanding, I think. So she has a perception of skateboarders as well.
What was her perception of skateboarding?
Yeah, so she's actually quite open to it. It's very surprising. I wasn't expecting that, but she's actually very open to it and very has kind of a pragmatic approach to skateboarders. But her perception is also fueled by the way that her son had an accident with a skateboard. So she perceives it as to be a dangerous sport and activity kind of thing. So there's not a lot of understanding around that. However, she was cool enough to open up her door and kind of allow us to kind of inform her about how skateboarding is perceived, what are the challenges, and kind of help change that perception. So the half-an-hour conversation opened up a lot of doors, and hopefully we're working on some stuff with them soon. Yeah.
That's great. Did you ask her why skateboarding in Cape Town is illegal?
Well, I think JP Smith can answer that question, and not necessarily.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of people are unaware of the fact that it is illegal.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like
everyone,
me.
exactly. You know, like everyone's kind of thrown back because there's so many skateboarders, there's so many people on the roads, there's so many skateboard shops. So how can this activity be illegal?
And how can skateboarding be illegal but surfing be perfectly fine? I mean, I guess you're on the road, but
yeah, it's again prioritization,
yeah.
but more prejudice in that prioritization. So sometimes people are prioritized. So cars, cyclists, and then skateboarders at a distant kind of end.
Yeah.
You know. And that's kind of fueled by prejudice as well. So it's about how do you include that person to have equal standing on space. I work in transport and development, and this is the kind of thing. It's about how do you kind of give people that same access to space. You know,
tell me about
space,
about skateboarding as a skateboarder, because I think the perception comes from people who don't skateboard thinking of the sport as a negative thing. Has it been that way in your life? I mean, I know you're going to say no, but just tell me about the skate culture. Is it a bad thing?
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a community, and the minute you jump on a board, you get welcomed into this community. It is a community that's kind of had its back up against the wall because of these negative perceptions and the way people kind of treat us. But it's actually a really cool community, and it welcomes a lot of the kids and it looks after the kids kind of thing. But I think there's a lot of other dynamics to it, that it's not just the community that gives off the perception, it's also industries and the brands.
Yeah.
That, you know, the hardcore brands, they want to show how hardcore they are with skulls and all these kind of
right.
things. So it changes, that fuels a perception. And then it kind of impacts negatively, but it's an adverse impact.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, how do you hope to see skateboarding change in 2015?
In 2015, one of the things is starting with Cape Town.
Yeah.
So this is home for me. Changing the way Cape Town kind of perceives skateboarders, but it's not just the perception or a politician smiling on a skateboard. It actually needs to be developed into programs and actually integrated into the city. So policy, programs, and plans and infrastructure, right? And then replicating this across South Africa, and possibly taking it a bit further and kind of building this global skateboarding forum. You know? So that's where we are.
Cool. Now,
big task for 2015.
Yeah, those are big tasks. How are you planning to achieve that? Kind of what steps do you have in place? Can people join and help?
Yeah, so we're the National Sk8 Collective, and we're busy with the city of Cape Town on a first basis. And then we're trying to use this framework, what we did over the past 2 years, and kind of taking it over to Joburg and Durban, and how they can kind of engage and lobby. So our lessons and our
learnings
kind of thing, to kind of pass it on. But then also we're setting up a sporting body called the South African Skateboarding Federation, and that's basically to regulate and kind of govern over the sport. And I think that's the first. It's looks over skateboarding and downhill skateboarding, gives athletes an opportunity to kind of access the sport and kind of make skateboarding more available. Also then changing perceptions. So we're launching this in February towards the end of the month. Websites and applications and memberships, and hopefully people will be partaking in the whole process. You know? It's a collective. Yeah.
Great. Well, now how can anyone watching this video get hold of you, get hold of Sk8 Collective if they would like to join and be a part of the changes that you're making?
So there's social media. That's probably the easiest way that we communicate. So there isn't a website for the National Sk8 Collective. So I think that our community is on social media. So what we try to do is kind of communicate in that platform. There's a National Sk8 Collective Facebook page. We have Instagram, we have Twitter, and then we're setting up a South African Skateboarding Federation page for the end of Feb. So
Great.
you can find the pages and connect. And then also find me, I'm Marco Morgan, it's easy, drop me a mail.
Good.
Cool.
Marco, high five for all the good work you're doing.
Man, it's been good. Thank you so much.